In addition to the first Dead Space, multiple other Dead Space related media was released around the first game to further promote it, which was done after EA received the Vertical Slice demo showcasing everything the game had to offer during its initial development. EA was so impressed with the potential of the game that they went all out to promote it with other properties. This was known by the developers as IP Cubed. The first multimedia property of this IP cubed approach would be the Dead Space comic series, which was released monthly in 2008 from March to September. The comic series was written by Anthony Johnston, who would later go on to be a scenario writer for the Dead Space franchise as a whole, and the comic series was illustrated by Ben Templesmith. The comic covers the events that took place on the space colony of Aegis 7, detailing the 5 weeks of horror after the initial discovery of the marker. The story of the comics was written in a way that it can be enjoyed as its own property, but with enough continuity that it ties into the first game as a prequel of sorts. The entire comic has been compiled into a graphic novel that you can purchase, or as an alternative, it was adapted into video format as a motion comic. The other property in IP Cubed was the animated movie Dead Space Downfall. Downfall was written by Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, directed by Chuck Patton, and developed by Film Roman with supervision from EA. Downfall takes place directly after the events of the comics, illustrating what happened to the crew aboard the USG Ishimura after the Red Marker was transported onto the ship from Aegis 7 before the events of the first game. Similar to the comics, it was meant to be enjoyed as its own property, and Film Roman were given complete creative freedom as long as they did not mess with the lore or the timeline. So with that, Film Roman's goal with Downfall was to make the goriest movie Film Roman ever produced, which is pretty evident with the final product. Downfall was released direct-to-video on October 28th of 2008, a week after the game's initial release. Additionally, a website called No Known Survivors was released as an ARG back in August of 2008, taking you through the lives of 2 employees aboard the Ishimura before, during, and after all hell broke loose in a point-and-click format. Unfortunately, the website URL noknownsurvivors.com was sold within the last few years, and the website is now considered lost media.